Here we go. And I'm recording. I am so scary right now. I have no idea. It's like I have what's happening there? Hi, Sid. Hi, Brian. Brian, you guys have to unmute yourselves. Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. So I
Excellent.
think
Okay,
before, have we?
no, we have not.
What's your name? Nia. No.
I'm Nia. Nia. Yep. I'm Nia. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Look at everybody's here. Hi, Jay. Julie.
You're
Okay,
you're
I've
on
got
your
all these-
live.
I
You're on
am. I'm on my
Instagram.
live. It's so scary.
Yeah.
You're hearing me in two places. I'm going to turn this around. Look what's happening.
Really? Okay, I've got all these.
Hey, guys. We have like a...
I am. I'm on my live.
Yeah.
It's so scary. You're hearing me in two places. I'm going to turn this around.
The
Look
Zoom
what's
is
happening.
coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
So everybody
we
say
have like
hi to the Instagram live people here.
Wait a everybody.
Coming. Okay.
Okay, guys.
So
So if
everybody
you
say
want to
hi
jump
to the
onto this Zoom
Instagram
call with
live
Brian and everyone who's here to ask Brian some questions about what's happening astrologically.
So you want to jump onto this
Jump on,
Zoom
the
call
link
with
is in the link tree, just come
Brian
on, and I'll
and
see you there.
everyone who's here to ask Brian some questions about what's happening astrologically this month. Jump on. The link is in the link tree. Just come on.
Okay. I'm in way too many places.
Okay.
Ah.
Oh my.
Rachel, hi, honey.
Hey, Nia.
Oh, that's a picture. I thought you were, are you frozen or is that your picture?
No, that's just my picture.
I'm like, either she's frozen. Okay, let me see. Let me plug this in so we have a little bit of lighting. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Did anybody sleep
Good.
last night? I'm telling you, I was
I
no
did.
sleep.
I had a hard time getting to sleep,
Holy cow.
but I have a hard time sleeping every Wednesday.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
I don't usually have that kind of trouble sleeping. I was like, Brian, did you sleep? Hi,
What I do?
Darian.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you sleep last night or?
Somewhat.
Whew, is it the
Yeah.
moon?
I sleep, whenever there's an opening. Like if you start to fall asleep, you fall asleep. If something doesn't open it up, then you do more work. Basically, it's always that way. I do 24/7. But no, I do sleep once in a while. So, and like when I get out to the, well, I ended up being on the local pond the other day. They have benches. That was a good place. I kept to catch up
Craziness.
somewhere, but no, I'm good. I think I'm good anyway. It's a very
Where
fast
is everybody? Right?
What's that?
Where is everybody zooming in from today? Sid, you guys, where are you calling in from?
This is my daughter Kylie and my daughter Brooke, and we're coming from Heber City, Utah.
Wow. Wow.
I know.
And what brought you here?
Brian. We met Brian, gosh, I met Brian about 10 years ago, probably. And so we've just become friends. And so Brian was telling me about this. And we
Beautiful.
were here last month, me and Brooke, and we loved it. It was really informative. Brian did a great job. So
I know he's amazing. I wasn't there though. Well,
I
sorry.
know. Yes,
I'm here
Jill.
now. Julie, hi Julie. Where are you coming in from today?
I am coming from Lawrence, Massachusetts, and I just this past week have been connected to Brian through a mutual friend for astro consultation, and he thought to just send this info to me last minute, and I happen to be able to be free, though I'll need to leave at about 4:45. I don't know how long it usually lasts, but
Usually it's about an hour. And I mean, one of the things I love about Brian, thank you so much for doing this. He just does this, out of the kindness of his heart, is the more he gets to know your chart, because he's not just an astrologer. There's all this intuition that comes in. There's all these other pieces. And so it's like it starts to come to life on many different levels. And so I thank you, Brian, for being here. Jay, say hi. I know where you're from.
Hi. Yeah.
But tell people.
I'm in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Very nice. And I know Jay is always connected to all the human harmonics things. So and the Pretty Little Wine Mom stuff. It's great to always see you
Yeah,
there.
it's really great. And actually, next Tuesday, October 6th, it's my birthday. So I'm gonna leave
Happy birthday to
Thank
you.
you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
And Darian, you want to say hi to everybody? Let us know where you're coming in from.
Hi, I'm coming from Brentwood, California. I'm new here. I'm new to the world in general, so.
The world is new to me. Sometimes that's a good thing. Rachel,
I'm coming to you live from Delaware.
I'm so glad you're alive. Although it would be very special if you weren't. That'd
No.
be it. Right. I love Rachel. Rachel's been to my house. Rachel's amazing, 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 amazing. So thank you for being here today. Hi, Charlotte. Where are you coming in from? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Sorry.
That.
There you go.
Hear me now.
Yeah.
Harvard, Massachusetts, and came because of Brian. And so
Perfect.
I'm new to this world as well.
That's beautiful.
Oh, and that's my dog.
And the dog came too.
Yeah.
Daniela, you want to say hi?
Hi,
You want to let everybody know where you're coming in from?
I'm from Sweden.
That I know. But everybody, what time is it there where you are right now?
It's 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, Daniela's around with all the human harmonic stuff and my stuff all the time, and it's always so good to have you here. And then we've got Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Where are you calling in from, Deborah? You're going to have to unmute yourself. Well, maybe she doesn't want to unmute herself. That's okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, now, sorry, I just unmuted. Taos, New Mexico.
Oh, lovely. Oh, so do you know Ellen?
Yes, I'm a friend of Ellen's.
Have I met you?
No, I missed you whenever you came to visit, 3 years ago? I was gone somewhere, and so you need to come visit again.
When I leave Tulum, I will be visiting there after I
Awesome.
visit my mother. But I love Taos. Taos is beautiful. I'm so glad you're here. I
Thank
wonder if
you.
Ellen's jumping on. And then who have we got from the 413 area code?
That's out in my area. It's Western Massachusetts. She
Is that
said,
your phone? No, there's somebody
no,
else.
that's a friend of mine out in Western Massachusetts. She
Okay.
said she called.
Diana,
Hi, Diana.
I can-
Welcome.
thank you.
Hey, man. There you go.
Hi, Brian.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to put you on the speaker view now so that on this recording, I'm going to record this. And first of all, I just want to thank everyone for being here. The energies are very fast right now. And Brian, I hope you're here to shed some light on what is going on. Just a little bit with this crazy full moon and just everything that's happening. We have two full moons this month, right?
Yeah. Two full moons. I don't have a clue what's going on, but that's to not comfort you, I guess.
Just pretend.
That's easier, right?
Everything keeps changing.
Well, if you remember on my writing, I called this the month of the full house. And it really is very full starting tonight. So anybody know exactly what's happening in about an hour, well, just about an hour from now, what's actually happening in the stars? Anybody got a clue?
I can't figure out what's happening right this minute, Brian.
Oh, okay. Well, it just so happens. All right. Well, we'll give you a little. How about if it's the most maximum sun-moon alignment during the month? What would that be called?
The most maximum what?
Sun-moon alignment. The sun and the moon are opposite in the sky. The sun sets, the moon's rising 180 degrees apart. What is that called?
Perfection.
Okay, I like that better. All right, it's a full moon. We are right now at the peak of the full moon. So by the end of our session, it will be at 5:05 here, or I guess what would be 2:05 there, or wherever. Where are you, Neil? You're somewhere else. Okay.
I'm in Tulum, Mexico. So that's
yeah, you're in Mexico.
Texas time.
Well, anyway, so the full moon is peaking right now as we speak. This is the maximum energy. And I have, I drew up two charts. I don't know if you're going to be able to see these very well, but let's see if you can, will this be able to be seen very well?
Yeah, that's good. Oh,
Yeah, but it's like we're looking at a foreign language.
I could just see
I'm
it.
not going to be quizzed on this, but I just wanted to show the dynamic. What you're looking at is a chart. The center is the Earth, so it's a geocentric. Both horizon lines, that's east and west. So the bottom of the Earth is underneath, the top is up here. And right now, I think if I'm going to make sure, yeah, okay. Right now, the sun, you see the sun with the circle, that symbolizes the sun. And the moon is right here. So you see it's 180 degrees apart.
Hmm.
Okay, now that is in Libra, and the moon is in Aries, and that's called a full moon. That's how that works. So you can't get any further out of the 180 degrees. That's maximum energy. So during full moons, the magnetic energy is pulling this way, it's pulling that way. So that's why, you know, it's usually kind of a high-strung time. But you'll notice in the yellow, this particular full moon has a lot more planets that are located along with it, and they're all in Aries. Okay, so just so you know that, then I can kind of explain it. I also have the one for the end of the month, the full moon and Halloween. So just so you get the idea. So when you have a full moon in Aries and Libra, emphasizes the two archetypes of Aries is self, taking care of yourself. You're the only one in the world is you. Libra is the sign that deals with your partner. So we have a polarity of energy that addresses your partnership and trust and cooperation versus just you're out on your own in the desert moving across, you know, to your destination. So it pulls you on two different directions. So at this particular full moon is very high energy, almost mostly Aries energy. So if anybody has a clue what that means, I think we have an Aries in the audience. There you go. So how would I say it? It's also connecting with, you notice all those planets. There was Chiron, Eris is a new planet. Chiron, Eris, Mars, which is the big player of this month and basically right till the end of the year, because Mars is in Aries too. Now you all heard about retrograde. Retrograde is when a planet appears to go backward in the sky. So Mars just a week and a half ago went retrograde, and it's in the sign Aries. So this is kind of a thing that people account for why the world is going just a little bit crazy, because it's a highly independent sign, and Mars is your adrenaline and it's your neuromuscular, it's how you project yourself. So there's a lot of independent affirmation going on. So this full moon is bringing it to the highest level. Right? It's called the harvest moon. So that means that there's greater light in the last couple of days so that the harvest can be done more successfully. But anyway, the Aries and Libra thing, I have a comment because I'm going to have to show you at the end of the month the other one, so you see the contrast. This is the Halloween. This is the Halloween moon. And you can see again the sun and the moon.
Hang on, Brian, we can't hear you very well.
Oh,
There you go.
you got to keep telling me that, Nia.
I will.
I start going over here and talking. Anyway, I get animated. That's the whole point. So, anyway, well, you notice the other one. The other had, you know, the sun and moon opposite, but this is different because it's in Scorpio and Taurus. And so that's a whole other function. And if you do astrology, you notice that the conjunction with the moon at Halloween is going to be with the planet Uranus or Uranus. And that has a whole other condition than from the one we're experiencing now. That's called the hunter's moon or the blue moon, because there's two full moons in the month. So does everybody get that idea about that polarity again? Because that's kind of what it's about. You can't really get any more maximum. They said Buddha always meditated during full moons because he was able to get this side, and he got to go to that side. unfortunately, the statistics will always point out that there's more schizophrenics that are admitted to asylums or wherever during full moons because they're being pulled apart. This way, oh, that
So
way.
if I go missing, you know where to find me?
Yes, we'll have your address right there. Anyway,
Just wanted to add to that, Brian. Very good friend of mine is a labor and delivery nurse, and she's working today. And
Yeah.
she said they're crazy busy with people having children earlier than they might otherwise because of the full moon.
Wow.
oh, is that right? Yeah, no, that's
makes sense.
classical. I mean, as long as I've been doing astrology, it's so evident, you know. But the good part of the full moon is that Buddha thing. You get the whole perspective. You're fully aware. You're fully enlightened. So obviously that's where you want to go. But if people don't understand their magnetic field or electron, because in astrology the sun is the electric energy, and the moon is the magnetic. So electromagnetic energy is what's happening. But if you get
Brian, that's really interesting. And I if I can just
go ahead.
throw this in there, the HeartMath Institute talks about the brain and the heart that way, where
Right.
the brain is electric and the heart is magnetic.
There you
Yeah.
go. Right. And, speaking of the brain, that's an Aries kind of the part of the body. Libra is the kidneys and the reins of the lower back. And ever since I can remember, I stayed in astrology a long time ago because of a book I read about medical astrology. And then later I talked to a doctor about polarities in the heart. So there are 6 polarities in the heart. One is the Aries Libra. That means to say if you get a headache, you treat the kidneys. That's Libra. Taurus Scorpio. If you have a sore throat, you address the reproductive system. That's Scorpio. If you have stomach problems, you rub your knees and elbows. It's a polarity kind of diagnosis. And he would tell me that he would use charts to diagnose his patients, but he wouldn't tell them because they all thought he was crazy. But he was able to have high success in addressing issues like that. Aquarius was the ankles, the heart energy is Leo. Pisces is the feet. I've told many people, I got a bellyache, well, rub your feet, it'll go away, because that's the Pisces Virgo thing. Gemini and Sagittarius, the lungs and the lower belly, the thighs or the pelvic area. So each one addresses the other. So there were 6 polarities. And after that, you pretty much know astrology.
All done.
Just like you're all done. So
Should
anyway.
I end the Zoom call now? Because we all know.
I know. Well, I always love astrology. It's kind of, I don't know anything about it. I get up in the morning, I start fresh every day. You find out all kinds of new stuff. And of course, in today's world, the astronomy discovery department is way off the chart. I don't know how many people know the thing that's my favorite discovery. Well, Venus has life now. That's a favorite discovery. And then also, there's a thing called an extragalactic planet they discovered for the first time in history, which means that there's a planet in another solar system beyond the Milky Way. We're in the Milky Way with our planets, and then we have exoplanets that are in the Milky Way going around other stars. But this one is called the Whirlpool Galaxy 51, and it's a brand new planet in another galaxy way beyond anything we've ever understood. So I like that one. I'm going to go there. I think I've already made my reservations, I've been there already. Anyway, so anybody knows me, they know that's true. All right, where were we? So when we go through the month, I'm going to give you a little trivia question. 3 times a year, there's a planet that goes retrograde for 3 weeks. What planet is that? It's a commonly known now phenomena.
Mercury.
Mercury. Very good. Whoever said that, right?
Well, lots of us said it.
All right. Well, Mercury is going to go. 13 Mercury goes retrograde on October 13th. Well, that's cool. It's in Scorpio. But here's the thing that I found was very, very interesting. Well, you know what happens when Mercury retrograde? They tell you don't sign important contracts, communication, drop calls happen. It's not always an easy time. But guess when it goes direct? Takes 3 weeks. It goes direct the very day of the election for the president. And like if you're an astrologer, you go crazy with that because that means that like somewhere around noontime, East Coast time, Mercury will stop going retrograde and go direct. So you could predict that it's going to be a massive, like, ballot networking system that's going to go like completely haywire. So what kind of an election is going to happen, right? I kind of like it because Mercury goes direct, straightens everybody out, but then where are we going to head, right? So anyway, so you want to pay attention to the middle of October, the 13th, as being kind of a turning point. I've, in terms of every month, ever since we started this year, there's been 3 planets or more that have been in the sign Capricorn. Can anybody name those planets?
Why are you testing us? You make me nervous.
Oh,
Saturn's one of them, I think.
okay, I'm sorry. Well, I'm trying to educate and learn, but I guess that's not the way to do it. All right.
No, you can do it any way you want. I'm just giving you a hard time because
I know.
I'm a ball buster sometimes. Just
Okay.
for fun.
Oh, remember.
Sorry. Because
All
I
right.
love you, Brian.
I know. I love you too. So anyway, all right, the answer is that the 3 planets are Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. All right. Now, personally, when that happened, it was in January, and it's been going on all year, and I've identified it as the virus thing. That's, to me, the virus thing. Okay, so now they've been going along, and if you remember during the summer, we had all the planets going retrograde, all of those, they were all in one big hall, and they don't know what to do with each other. Well, just recently, Jupiter just broke forward and went ahead of the pack, and Saturn, just the other day, at the end of September, also moved forward. And in my scenario, the Saturn and Jupiter are 2 Navy SEALs. So Jupiter went first down the desert. He says, I'll meet you on the mountaintop, the other one, which is Saturn. So Jupiter and Saturn started making their move. They're going direct now. Whenever it goes direct, it's a very powerful energetic system happening. Both are political, both are law and order, and all kinds of other things that affect governments and things like that. So, but here's the thing. This is what made me say that the election has already been decided at the end of September yesterday. I mean, I'm sure most people watch the debate, but what happened is that Saturn and Jupiter now made their move, ready to go together right around the winter solstice, which is December 21st, and they form this conjunction called the synodic cycle. It happens every 19 years. And it basically, astrologers agree that it affects the destinies of presidents. So to me, the 2 Navy SEALs are going off into a conspiracy, if you will, and that's not a great word, and they have that conjunction. So it's already decided who's the winner. If you talk about it energetically and in the universe, because the energies are conspiring now to a different direction. Does that make any sense, or am I way off the track here?
So if it's already, if what you're stating is that energetically they've already conspired for the outcome to be what it is, then how is it that Mercury going direct on the day of the election would impact?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. It's probably going to toss it into, because I was reading about that, what happens if they don't get it all concluded. It'll go until the end of the year before they decide. So the Mercury, coming to doing its thing, will toss it into a 2 or 3 month tumble, and then the Saturn and Jupiter come along and say, okay, maybe the Supreme Court will decide it, or who knows how they're going to work this out, right? So
that wouldn't surprise me this year.
No, everybody's on this one a little bit. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen, right? So it's not a normal year, right? So, okay, so we have both Saturn and Jupiter moving forward now. And there's one on October 4th. I won't ask the question, I'll just tell you. That's Pluto, okay? Now, Pluto is the one of Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, or I call the trio. They've been like signing contracts all year long to do a musical gig, a trio, the 3 of them. And what happens is that every time planets like the moon or the sun or other planets make aspects to the trio, it happens like in 3 times. It's a square, 1, 2, 3 square. That's a whole day and a half, 2 days of square where everybody goes crazy. And then it goes back to normal, and it's going to go to a nice thing again. It goes back to squares, oppositions, all kinds of aspects. So one thing I always wanted to do was to be able to explain aspects, but probably a little bit too many things to talk about. But there's you just talked about the opposition. That's the full moon. That's 180. The toughest aspect, meaning when planets are aligned with the Earth in the center with each other, is called a square or 90 degrees. So that, let's say if Saturn is square to the moon, that's a very tough day because squares always imply a tough day. And when the moon is trine or 120 degrees apart, it's always an easy day. And so all through the month of October, I've termed it sprinkling, which means that there's one day it's like beautiful, and the next day it goes into chaos, and then it's beautiful, chaos, and then stuff. It's a very, very crazy ride during this month because there's so many different aspects jumping all over the place. So I got so many lists here, but okay. So right, hold on one second. Right through the whole month, I can't even talk about all of them, but there's all these squares and oppositions, conjunctions going on. So it's a very jumbled month. Let's put it that way. So by the time we get at the end of October and the full moon, our entire reality has shifted to a totally different structure of things, of organization. We start today, by the end of the month, the whole world has changed significantly. So on October 4th, when Pluto goes direct, that's the third one in the trio. So Saturn's already done it, Jupiter's already done it, and Pluto's going to join it. That's when I was saying they're going to take home the bacon. So now the three of them are going to go pell-mell, right into the next year. And Pluto is classically called a revolutionary planet. And it's something that if you're talking spiritual, that's a good thing because it's transformations and transmutations. And Pluto is, has a symbol that looks like the sun, the Holy Grail, and the cross. And so it has to do with regeneration and deep-rooted kinds of changes. So anyway, if Pluto starts to move with all the other three, it's hard to imagine just what's going to happen, even on October 4th, just a couple of days from now, how they're all going to join together and move into a new world. But if you're doing, I study the U.S. chart and things like that, but there's a thing that's going to happen in the next year and a half, which I would ask all the presidential candidates, or whoever, about how they would handle it. Pluto's a revolutionary planet. It also has a root word of Pluto or plutonium. It's a nuclear planet. And also, the United States was born about 240 something years ago, and Pluto was in Capricorn then, and it hasn't been back to Capricorn until next year. Okay, so it's called a Pluto return. And this has led me to think from the last couple of years that the American Revolution has not ended yet. It's, there's still a king. There's still, the colonists have to really do something to get it together. So any president who might be in office at the time, they're going to have to understand what that means. It's a powerful resurgence of this country in whole new ways.
Brian, if I can share something really interesting, and I don't even ask me why I know this, but when you said that, the revolution is not finished and the king is still there, there's the thing called Amendment 1871 in the United States, and most of us don't know about it, which after the Civil War, we were broke. And so Congress made an illegal deal with the Vatican Bank and with the Rothschilds of London to have an infusion of cash. And what they gave them in return was basically the right to the people and to Washington, D.C., and to turn it into a corporation. So in essence, what we've been doing, and this is a really broad statement, you'd have to dig in to understand it more deeply than what I understand is, what it means is that we actually have belonged to this corporation of the combination of the Vatican Bank and the Rothschilds of London. And we're functioning almost under the brand of our Constitution of the United States, which is a beautiful constitution, but we're actually physically functioning as a corporation because of that deal of 1871. And now there was this massive debt that had to be paid back, and it was just paid back. So who's in charge? This is exactly what you're saying, basically. It's an interesting thing. You'd have to look it up to go deeper, because I'm an actress. I don't really know much about history, but for some reason I knew that.
Well, anybody else have a comment on that one? That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I gotta incorporate that somewhere, am I thinking?
Yeah, I've heard that as well about the Corporation of London owning the United States
Right.
still, and controlling what's going on politically, everything.
Yes, because we're like the military branch, and that's where the Federal Reserve comes in, and it goes all up into the banking system. But it's all going to turn, upside down because all of this is kind of done. And there's a whole other financial thing that's happening that's very gold backed, which is really going to knock stuff off its rocker. But anyway, there you go.
Cool. I have an interesting little anecdote about these two full moons and politics. Now, I don't think anybody else has discovered this one, but now we have, I'm going to talk just about the two Democratic, people. Kamala Harris has a Libra with the moon in Aries. She's a Libra with the moon in Aries. Well, guess what? That's where the full moon is right now, right? Joe Biden is a Scorpio with the moon in Taurus. Well, guess what? That's where the full moon is on Halloween.
Where it's going. Wow, that's wild.
That's
That's wild.
Isn't it? So, obviously they have to make the biggest push they can during this month, right? So, but that was always, that one kind of like that.
That's crazy. So they're having a lot more like an energetic boost during this time.
Oh, they should. Yeah, like right now, Kamala is right at the top of her game. She has to be, whatever she's doing right now, she's expressing the maximum, that's her role. And then as the month goes on, then Joe's going to come in at the end of it, do his Scorpio and Taurus thing. So anyway, isn't that funny? That's a great one.
Funny.
All right.
Although their debates, is there some kind of a vice presidential conversation or debate that goes on? When's that?
What do you mean, debate?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think there's one coming up. Anybody else know that one? Charlotte, you know that? No.
I don't.
I don't know what it is.
Harry Truman's still a president, right? That's all. I've been watching all kinds. I've been watching a lot of not war movies, but real documentaries of World War II and heroes and people, all that kind of stuff. You gotta just, it's incomprehensible. All the people have gone to war and they lose their life for our country, and you gotta kind of buck it up a little bit for that kind of stuff. So when I was in high school, I was very much into civics and governmental things, and I was very empowered by that. But then I became more spiritual and I wandered off into the woods. So. Anyway.
Brian, let me ask you this. Understanding a little bit about what that is and how it's impacting us as individuals and as a collective and this election that's going on. What I'm hearing you say is that we as individuals are going to be taken through a bit of a ride this month.
Right.
And with everything that's at stake, and it's really not just the United States, because the United States impacts the world on such a massive level. What is the highest calling for us? As we move through this up and down and in and out, what are we called to do in the middle of that?
I think the answer is what I've been calling world initiation. Okay, and that has to do with the archetype of of Capricorn, the sign Capricorn. So when it all began in the beginning of 2020, I was already saying 2020 should be a high level experience of the Earth becoming initiated to the mysteries. That was my, would be a high level spiritual attainment. We're all becoming extremely wise spiritually, but obviously it didn't seem to happen that way. It went down into a political, machine, and it's here. Nobody's talking about spiritual stuff in that sense. So, if I take the United States chart or the world chart, and use the world chart, I would, if I was doing a reading for that person, I would be trying to get them to understand how their physical self, because Capricorn's a physical sign body, how they are going to utilize their physical body to attain spiritual bliss or spiritual expression. And that would be the goal, because, not everybody's found worthy, that concept kind of a thing. You really have to be disciplined and go and, attain the mountaintop. Because, Capricorn is the mountaintop. So that's where I would start. So we're still in it. And I know everybody works hard to attain the highest level, highest vibration. but that really is what you have to do. So I have this phrase I call superior humility. You have to be the superior, like God, goddess, but you have to be very humble. And that's kind of a Capricorn theme. So I believe that when this thing happens on October 4th, all the Capricorn, I was going to say ballots, but they're all going to be going into now everybody's mainstream all around the world. We're being tested. So if you want to go into a little bit more esoteric way of looking at it, the Earth is preparing all the physical things that are happening on the planet, from the cold virus to everything else. It is a representation of getting ready for interaction with other cultures. You know, not just the Earth. I mean, we're very close to whatever else is going to happen to us in our cultural world. It's just a matter of time before it becomes real. So I've noticed, and I think I've told people about this, that back in January, if I took a picture of myself and I took a picture now, today, I'd be totally different framework. And my body would have already been changed somehow because I'm like an astronaut getting ready for a new kind of environment, a new expression. And if you get really esoteric, there's a reason for that because we are as a solar system in a new part of space. And so that's why nobody knows what to do from global warming to whatever else, because if you imagine our solar system is like a rocket ship, for centuries it was going in the direction of what was called the red dragon, but then all of a sudden it popped out and it went into a fourth-dimensional field, the photon field, and we're heading toward Alpha Centauri. It's as simple as that, but that means nobody knows what to do. You know, I mean, even astronauts don't know what to do when they get out there. So that means now when you get into this Capricorn theme, that we're all responsible for being about as aware of our physical self as a spiritual being that we can, because we have to adapt to a new series of conditions. So I've always used the Capricorn theme as the ballet dancer like Nureyev, and every time you see a dancer like a ballet person, they're just stretching out. They can't go any more out of their body without going out. They're just so maxed, and their physical awareness and movement. That's a Capricorn thing. We become aware of our physical self. So that's a whole other treatise. You can start a university around the concept of our physical and spiritual self and how they unite. But that's what's happening this year, or should have happened. So I still think it is. So I don't know if that answers the question.
And so are you talking about the physical body as the temple?
Oh, yeah.
Are you talking about, because I know for me, I've been a really physical person my whole life, and how my body is responding to things and what it feels is really, really shifting. And so, and I don't recognize it. It could be because I'm almost 60, but no. But I mean, just the way that it moves and the way that it senses things and the way that it moves around, it feels different. It's like the difference between walking on the land or swimming in the water. I'm much more comfortable swimming in the water than moving on the land. And so it feels like there's this different thing even on the land, that I'm moving through the air differently. It just feels different to me. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that.
Well, anybody else have a comment on that? That would be interesting. Charlotte?
No, she's just weird.
No.
What do you think, Charlotte?
Well, I too am extremely physical, and that's how I move in my world, and it means so much to me. And I've been noticing just being a little more revved up in my gut, just a little more revved up. I'm not sure, what exactly. I still get out and walk every day, and I hike, and so I can exhaust myself. I find the need to do that because I'm revved inside. I don't know. That's what I want to say.
That's awesome.
Hi, this is Diana. Can you hear me?
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Diana.
Hi. I'm interested if you could talk a little bit more about how I'm having an experience that there's more light coming in right now, and that this is really stirring up all the darkness for a level of purification that we've never experienced before. Can you speak a little bit about if that's true during this time?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's funny, I was just going to answer a question about the other direction we were heading, but that's perfect because everybody has a little bit of like, I mean, the other day I was, I don't know, leaning back and all of a sudden I saw a big light, a door coming through a light. You know, it's just, and you follow that light. Oh,
I got it. She
okay.
just needed to be muted.
Anyway, that's a perfect example of well, two things. On the localized level of the planets, the cardinal signs are very active. So cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. That's been the theme all year long. And so that's a movement sign. So that means everybody moves all the time, no matter what. But you can either move in a direction of darkness or you can either move in a direction of light. So what you're talking about is very, it's a good word, quantum. I mean, it has to do with the etheric light, the fourth dimension. And there are people who are beginning to access it. I'm sure that's what you're talking about. And so planets stir it up. One of the things I haven't mentioned yet in this, you know, about October, is that about midway, I think it's around the 9th of October, there's going to be a thing called a Solomon seal configuration. Now, Solomon was a great king, right? So, but this is named after, and it's a 6-point star. And if you have, you know, a planet at each corner at the 6 points, it forms a perfect, what they call Solomon seal. It's the most perfect of all the alignments that happen in astrology. And so it's happening like in about 10 days from now. And that represents like very high level metaphysical wisdom. You can feel like it's soft, it's energetic, it's pure, it's holy. You feel like you're in heaven. I mean, I think that's what we're also building around that. But thinking how many kinds of light is there? There's all kinds of light. So I'm thinking that's called an etheric light. So I just want to remind everybody that that's also happening this month, like almost like a supernatural being or the deities themselves will come down and just bless everybody with this enormous light field. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Diane, but that's where I go at the moment. Still there?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Thank you.
You have the doors of light, right? And
Right.
I saw that the other day. I was sitting in my room, but it was a cabin in my mind, and I saw the door open. It was beautiful light coming through. So I said, and the spirit said, go through it, and I did. And I've never been the same after that. So that's what I mean. You choose the etheric, the fourth dimension, fifth dimension. It's available now. Yeah, that's kind of what
that's my experience too. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I found a picture of Solomon's seal. You guys want to see it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to share my screen here.
I know you knew King Solomon very well. I know. In your other lifetime. There you go. All right.
There it is, right there.
All right. 1, 2, 3. So you see the 6 points.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now that's a really beautiful picture. Where'd you get that one?
Just online. I just punched it up.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you can do things like that, right? Well, let me point out an astrological fact of why that is the perfect alignment. When you draw the 6 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? They form 60-degree angles and 120-degree angles. And in astrology, those are called the soft or the easy aspects. So when you have planets that are aligned by 120-degree angle or 60, everything is flowing and easy and beautiful. It's harmonious, as opposed to the squares and oppositions that we talked about. So when you have that going on, in fact, it's going to be, the moon will be in Cancer, Venus will be in Virgo, Mercury will be in Scorpio, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter will be in Capricorn, Neptune will be in Pisces, and Uranus will be in Taurus. That's earth and water. So we're having an earth and water Solomon seal. That's the physical body and the psychic body, or the intuitive. So I guess the best thing to think, I mean, I might do that now when I'm thinking about it, the next week until the 9th, start doing what you were saying there about the movement of your body. Not only physical, you can feel the tangible physical, but you feel the flow of your soul. it's a soul flow.
That's what I'm feeling actually. You know, having been so super physical, there's like finer energies that my body is sensing and being asked to like
Right,
sit
right.
still for a minute and feel. It's like the difference between feeling the breath on the back of your, you know, of your shoulders versus feeling someone, you know, give you a massage. And so it's those finer energies that I'm experiencing.
So imagine we're going to have a divine bath in the next 2 weeks, and then Mercury will go retrograde and mess everything up. But you know, no, we're going to have this beautiful thing happening, a heavenly shower of energy. So it's okay to be, you know, like dancing, physical. It's okay to move with what your heart and soul feels. You know that one. So um, I want to talk about also the new moon that's coming up. Okay. Um, the new moon is, let's see, when is it going to be on what was it, the 16th of October. And it's very interesting because it's the sun. Okay, what is a new moon, right? The full moon is when they're pulled apart, but a new moon is when the sun and the moon are together. Okay, that's how it goes. So when the sun and moon pull together, it's usually a week before, the energy's less, and then the sun and moon come together, it builds up for the next 2 weeks to the full moon. It's always been doing that. But in this case, the sun and moon will be in Libra, and at 23 degrees of Libra in the zodiac. And that lines up with two important stars, Arcturus and Spica, which are very heralded esoteric energies. And if you go into that realm of the Arcturians and the Sirians and the Andromedans, well, it's a high level of attendance of, let's say, Arcturian energy. So this new moon's in Libra. If you had a moratorium, that's not the right way. If you had a little discussion group about ideal partners, you know, who your ideal partner might be, this new moon will bring in all the energy and information you need, because it won't be anything you ever thought it was going to be. It's a brand new thing, but it's connecting up with Arcturian energy, which is a kind of a, you know, a science fiction sort of thing, but it really isn't. It's just drawing in energy that's beyond the planet. And so I'd be especially, I don't know, honoring this new moon that's coming up. So I don't know what anybody's planning on the 16th, but just remember that one. The other thing that has to do with Libra stuff is that on the 27th, yeah, very interesting thing happens. Now, Mercury and Venus will be going into Libra 0 degrees at the same exact time. And to me, that's like when somebody gets married. It's like a marriage energy. Venus is the love planet, Mercury is the youth planet, youth and marriage. Well, what a perfect time to get married. If anybody's going to get married, do it on the 27th. You know?
27th of October?
Yeah, that's coming up.
Okay, great. I'm setting the date. I just got to find someone. It's all good.
Yeah, well, you know, we have a bureau for that. You know, anyway, no, that one was like, that one kind of really intrigued me because I also called it a trial marriage. Like what happens when you take the beautiful Venus and the beautiful Mercury and they put them together in harmony and joy? I mean, that's almost illegal, right? I mean, like, does anybody really have that? But that's what's going to happen on the 27th. So if you were planning to get married, you might as well do it then. Got any plans near? No.
I've been planning it my whole life.
Oh, all right. Well, now
I'm missing the other half.
All right.
Okay, wait, I have to do this because the picture that I shared on my screen of Solomon's seal,
Boy, okay.
it's 6 points, and one that I showed was 5. I was going, wait, do I need my glasses?
Yeah, I didn't.
Anybody else see that? I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
It's the Star of David, which is the seal of Solomon.
That's right.
The other was like the tetragrammaton.
The pentagram Venus thing. Yeah, that's a whole other story. Venus is very interesting. Very interesting planetary history. Did you know that Venus was said to be like the Mother Mary, who in cosmic history, when the Earth was getting too close to the sun, Venus moved in and whacked it out of the orbit of the sun's heat and put us into what's called a Goldilocks zone. So it was like the mother that just, and so in Russia they have 1,000 square miles or whatever of scorched earth, where they said that's where Venus hit the planet, and as a result, And you know, she says, children, get out of the way. I'll go buy this on them, and all that. So I find that interesting. All that kind of cool stuff, the mythology, But so, oh yeah, so you had all those 6-pointer stars, yeah. Well, that's really the Solomon seal is.
Yeah.
But all those points form 60 and 120-degree angles. So if you know, 60-degree angle is the same shape as a water molecule. A water molecule is 60-degree angle. So water's always solvent. It's always totally impure. It's never not, I guess, unless it was polluted.
Brian, we've got about 10 more minutes. And
Okay.
I'd love to open it up does anybody else have any questions?
And anything on October 6th, that's my birthday.
That's your birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, how old are you? How old are you?
What year? 1973. So I'll be 47.
Oh, okay. Really? Okay. October 6th, that sounded really familiar. There's a lot of different things that happen, but we'll go to this. This is the most trusty book I have. It's the Ephemeris, where all the planets are on a given day. Oh, that should be nice. Yeah. So you're going to celebrate it in any particular way? Do you have any plans for celebrating your birthday?
No, I'll be working that day, working from home
Okay.
till 5 p.m.
Well, okay. I'm going to say something very unique, I hope. Wow, okay. The aspects for today, for that day, the moon will be in Gemini, and that's good for any kind of intellectual or I don't know. Gemini is a very versatile sign, and it has a lot of energy to it. But what's going to happen is that see, you should do it. The moon is going to be in the Pleiades star system. This is where I want to go with you on that, on your birthday list, because there's a lot of mysteries going through your birthday that day. But the one thing you want to access is, the Pleiades are the 7 sisters, and a lot of cultures around the world believe that they came from the Pleiades. So it's at the end of Taurus and beginning of Gemini. So that day, when you have your birthday, the moon will be right in the Pleiadian star system. And in some of the even recently in the last 20 years, there's people who say that the solar system has become a planet going around the Pleiades. So we're going to give you an assignment on that day to go out and find that connection. Okay, so you're going to be in the photon field for the day. So you better leave work and go out in the meadow and start studying whatever you like. Get a little air that day, is what I'm saying. And look up at the stars and look to see the 7 sisters. So I was called a sweet influence, so you can have a good one. There's a lot of mystery stuff going on there. I wonder if anybody's going to give you a secret gift. You might get a secret gift on that day. You're smiling anyway, I think so.
Well, happy birthday. That's my sister's birthday, too. Does anybody else have a question? No? All good. Brian, there's been a little bit of talk about this month being the time to really, I wouldn't say move your intentions forward, but sort of galvanize what it is you want, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about that? That's probably a good way to close this up.
All right. Well, I'm going to preface the answer by saying, let's see, hold on. Let's see. The 19th, okay, will somewhat answer your question by holding on to the energy of the 19th, where Venus and Jupiter will be in an exact trine. Remember the 120-degree angle I said? And in astrology, Venus and Jupiter are the 2 benefics, the lucky planets and all that. So it's the best time in the whole month and in the whole year, okay? So, yeah, so intention is, that's what I kind of meant by the Capricorn stuff too, because there's much more at stake than we realize. And we can't just sort of lay back and expect things to happen either. So, but you got to set forth your intention. And if you work hard, they always say if you work hard, the luck comes. So there's kind of that sort of effect, right? So I would, yeah, I want everybody to be pointing their souls and their spirits toward, I don't know, realizing like the beauty of being on the planet, physical, and but also I can see it like as a vision of society really actually coming together in a highly creative way where everybody finally realizes who they are. I think that's going to start happening this month because all the stuff is just going to rock and roll through it. And I mentioned that Saturn and Jupiter will be in conjunction in Aquarius at the end of the year, right at the solstice. And I've always felt that that's going to be the beginning of the Aquarius age, where the whole revolution of the world becomes something we can't even imagine. So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to be, I don't know, I'm not going to say whatever. You want to be on the highest level of vibration. So this is really a good time to sum it all up because it's so available to. It's like God or whatever is saying. Just here it is. I got everything to pick, the fruits, everything. What do you want? It is available.
Yeah, I find a lot of my friends are feeling that, but there is this little bit of fear because kind of claiming that is different than where they have been. So they've learned, in a sense, to function in this old system, even though the system is broken. And there's this calling from within them to stand up in the whole truth of who they are, but they don't know how that works because the system that they're functioning in is falling apart. The new one hasn't been created. But I think it is the holding on of that and the being brave enough to stand up in the fact that, for in my example, and I think everybody else's too, is I'm a good person. I'm a kind person. I am love. I am compassionate. And to move from that state of being, not knowing where it's going to land you, instead of using the old system of separation, the more we stand up in that, the sooner the new systems begin. We're like laying the groundwork for those systems. So by choosing that without understanding what it's going to look like, you choose that state of being. We are actually creating it by choosing that state of being.
Well, we're being utilized. We're being malleable. We're being worked.
Yeah.
And, you can feel it. I mean, you just say this. We say that right along, but if you really do understand it and accept it, life is a breeze. It really, because you're living, even Jesus said his burden was light and easy. Like what? So we're supposed to be light and easy. We're not supposed to be heavy and burdened with stuff. And that's all fear-based. And so I always use perfect love casts out fear. So you perfect your love, you have no fear, you're in good shape. But that trickles down to the body especially. And I think, we said in the beginning about the body as temple, we all know that one, but it really is. And we're also changing our genetic code. So a lot of the stuff that's happening now, if we could project it 1,000 years from now, and if there is a planet, and who knows what's going on then, what will they write about this particular time in history? What will they be saying about humans and where they evolve? Think of all the amazing anthropological events going on, with all the cultures of the world, the races, the cultures, it's like, I don't think I'd want to be God to check it all out. It's like there's a really big scramble, but that's sorting out. It's like a little bit like survival of the fittest, but in this sense, everybody's included, and we all have a chance to be at the highest level of spiritual attainment.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Anyone have any closing comments or questions? No? Rachel?
Sid, you got a word?
Oh, no, I was just going to say thank you, Brian. That was good.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been really quiet this session.
Okay, good.
And good.
All right.
That's great job.
All right.
All right, before we...
Oh, and also,
Yes.
What?
thank you, Nia, too. You've been a wonderful host.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. I
Absolutely.
want to take a
If
moment.
you're wondering, if you've seen me do stuff, it's because I've been taking notes. I haven't been texting people. I have really good notes.
And I just also want to say that this was wonderful. And I'm sorry I had a dog that has been bugging me this entire time. So
That's all right. We love our animals. But
we
I just
They teach-
I can feel the love here in this group, and I just want, we should have taken time to stop in and connect hearts, but I think it starts happening anyway, and we are connected here. from the state of gratitude and wholeness. And always this devotion is to choose this state of being that is love. And in that, that's the only thing we know for certain, for me. I mean, well, Brian knows things about the stars, that's for sure. But, but in terms of how we're moving and what's happening in the world, the only thing I know is to trust that choosing. And that's the choosing of that is actually creating the world that we're moving into. So I want to thank you guys all for being here. Brian, thank you. You're always here, right on time. And we're here the first of every month. All right, love you guys. Happy full moon.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Good time to meditate.
Right now.
No.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, Brian.
Bye.